My sweet child, I want to take you somewhere different. Not to a new place, but to a new way of seeing a place where you have been standing all along. You have been looking at your life, at what I have given, and at what seems to have not yet come. And somewhere in the looking, a quiet question took root. Not one you would necessarily say out loud, and perhaps not even in clear words to yourself, but it is there, and I can hear it. The question of whether I am the kind of father who holds things back, who parcels out blessing in careful, measured portions, according to how well the receiving has been earned. Whether my open hand waits for something from yours before it will open. I want to answer that question, not with an argument you have to accept on faith alone, with something simpler and more lasting. I want you to sit with me in the actual truth of who I am, the God behind the descriptions, the Father underneath the doctrines, and let what you find there do in your soul what no amount of striving or trying harder was ever going to accomplish on its own. Because the thing that changes a life is not information about me. It is genuine encounter with me. What I want you to understand is this: I am generous. Not in the way that word sometimes gets used, as a trait I put on for good behavior or pull back when patience runs thin. I am generous the way the ocean is wet. It is not a decision the ocean makes each morning. It is what the ocean is, down to the last molecule. Giving freely is not a program I run or a reward system I administer. It is woven into the fabric of who I am at the very core. And nothing you do or fail to do has ever changed that, or ever will. You cannot earn your way into my abundance, and you cannot behave your way out of it. It is simply what I am, and it has always been directed toward you. Slow your thinking down for a moment. Set aside the lists and the worries and the calculations you carry. There will be time for all of that. Right now, I am inviting you into a conversation that I believe your heart has been waiting for, even if you could not have named what was missing from the way you have been relating to me. The table is set, the place has your name on it, and I want to tell you about the Father who prepared it. There was a season in your life, and I walked beside you through every single day of it, when you looked at your circumstances and wondered whether I had forgotten you, whether the promises you had heard somewhere along the way, the ones about blessing and favor and a future filled with hope, were meant for someone else, someone more deserving, someone more consistent in their faith, someone who had not made the mistakes you made, or harbored the doubts you harbored, or let the years pass in the quiet ways that felt, looking back, like failure. In that season, you did not say this out loud, perhaps not even to yourself in clear words. But the feeling was there. The sense that the blessing was always just slightly out of reach, just one degree of faithfulness away, just one more act of trust you had not yet managed to produce. And underneath that feeling was a deeper one, more tender and more frightening. The wondering of whether you were truly the kind of person that a generous God would choose to pour himself out toward. My eyes were upon you in every moment of that season. Nothing about you escaped me. Not the prayer you breathed out while driving, half-formed and not sure if anyone was listening. Not the tears that came without warning in the middle of an unremarkable Tuesday, quickly wiped away before anyone could see. Not the long quiet moments in the middle of the night when the doubts felt loudest and the answers felt farthest away. Not the morning you woke up and felt the familiar weight of unanswered questions settle back onto your chest before you had even fully remembered what day it was. I beheld you in all of it. Every detail, every shade of feeling, every moment when the gap between what you hoped for and what you experienced felt impossible to explain. And I was moved. Not to disappointment, not to frustration. Moved with the tenderness that a father feels when he watches his child struggle with something that the child is not yet big enough to carry alone. Because that is what it means to have a father who is abundant by nature. It does not mean the hard seasons never come. The widow of Zarephath was preparing what she believed would be her last meal, the final handful of flour, the last drop of oil, a fire built from a few dry sticks. Then Elijah came and asked her to give first, before she knew the outcome. She opened her hands when everything in her screamed to hold on, and the flour did not run out. The oil did not run out. Day after day, The jar that should have been empty was not empty.